Hi, it's Danny from Somewhere in Metal. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all good. Today I am a little late to the party. You will have seen a tag that was created by Merciful Metal called Know Your Collection. There's been a few videos going around YouTube, all fantastic, really good to see people's collections or some of the rarities or some of the ones that they've not listened to for a while. So I thought I'd have a little stab at it myself. A difficult one to do because there is so much in terms of albums, CDs, tapes, all that sort of stuff which you buy. And I don't know if anyone's like me, but I absolutely make a habit that when I buy something, I have to play it at least a couple of times before I put it in the collection, which is all well and good, but once it's in a fairly big collection, it's hard to then revisit it unless it's on your mind or unless you're doing a little bit of a binge on a band. So I found this particularly good. So there was lots of ones I could have picked, but the ones I've picked hopefully are interesting to people, and some that you'll know and some that you may not know. So yeah, without further ado, let's get cracking. So the first question is something that you're listening to quite a lot at the moment. Um, this is a band that I saw on Scott Waters' channel. Obviously, Scott does some great stuff. Obviously, has lots of content. One of the bands that kept jumping out on a few videos that I was watching was a band called Vector. And this is the first album, Black Future. I've also got their other two albums. This is the debut though, and this is the one that I got last. The two others that I've got are absolutely great, fantastic stuff. Really technical, great musicianship, very thrashy. Um, almost got almost have some black metal vocals, almost thrashy cross black metal. Um, in the vein of Voivod in terms of some of the artwork. If I can find the other ones, yeah, here's one. Here's both of them actually. So you've got Outer Isolation and you've also got Terminal Redux. So you can see by some of the artwork, very space orientated, technical musicianship. And yeah, really good, just really good listen. They've not done anything for a while, but I did notice on their Instagram page that they're just doing a tour of Japan. So hopefully they'll get themselves a new label and put some new music out. If you've not heard them and you like Voivod and you like kind of Watchtower bands like that, then definitely recommend them. Give them a listen. I'll just show you the innards on this one. I won't show you both records because they're pretty much the same. Great band shot there. Lyrics. And then the vinyl. This is an Earache reissue in green. If you are interested in them, I would head over to Earache because the prices on those vinyls, they're pretty much all double vinyls, and I think I paid £13 each one. Also got a t-shirt for about a fiver. So yeah, if you do like it, head over there. They've got some great deals on the whole catalogue. Okay, so that's Vector. Second question is two albums that you've not listened to for over 12 months. There's a bit of a thrash theme today. The first one is an album that I knew the album cover. It's a classic thrash release from back in the 80s, not from any of the big bands, but for me personally, it's certainly a cover that I used to see. Never actually owned it, and I was in a little place called Altrincham in the northwest of England. There's a record shop there, popped in, and for whatever reason, they had two copies of this one, and they had another copy of Paradox Heresy album, both OGs, both for about £25, and I just could not believe that I was seeing them so close to home, you know, OG copies. So I snagged both of them. But this is the other one. This is Gothic Slam, Killer Instinct. Yeah, I've listened to it a lot, but not in the last 12 months. So it's one of those that just went back on the rack, and yeah, not been played since. But classic OG thrash, really great riffs. I think they've only got about one other album. I'm not sure of the name of it off the top of my head. This is an original, as you can see from the inner sleeve, which is a little bit worse for wear, but the record plays fine. It's on Torrid Records. There you go. And there you go. So yeah, that's the first one. Second one is in the same vein, probably a little bit more popular back in the 80s, and probably one that you're familiar with. Brilliant album, loved it, owned it back in the day, and picked up this classic again. I don't know when it was probably over 10 years ago now. So this is Hades, If at First You Don't Succeed. There you go. And this is an original. Great band shot. Lyrics on the back. And this is a Roadrunner Records original. There you go. Vinyl plays really well. Interesting on this one, in terms of the band, you've got Dan Lorenzo, T. Coombs, Alan Tecchio, Kimmy Schumann, and Ed Furman. Dan Lorenzo now. Hades did a few more albums. They did Resisting Success, and also they've got a few other albums after this which I own on CD. Less popular ones, but still definitely worth picking up. You'll probably catch them on eBay, Amazon. But what I would recommend is Dan Lorenzo now is doing a group called Patriarchs in Black, and he's got a couple of albums out now. Brilliant stuff. A lot of guest vocals, guest guitar. I think one of the Run DMC people's on one of the songs as well, but it's certainly not new metal or rap rock crossover, all that sort of stuff. It's very doomy actually, but definitely check it out. Got a good Instagram page with all the links on. But yeah, that's Hades. Okay, so the last question is 3 albums that you've not listened to for a very long time. These 3 are all, I'd say they're all different, certainly. The first one is an offshoot from a band that is these guys, DRI. This is Pasadena Napalm Division. I think this is Kurt Brecht on vocals, and the other members are from a band called Dead Horse, not a band that I'm familiar with. But this is something I picked up just very randomly, probably about, when was it out? It must be about 10 years ago. Picked it up just off the internet, just saw it advertised and thought, yeah, definitely I'll give that a listen. Love DRI. There you go. Great band shot with Kurt Brecht there and the rest of the guys in the background. Lyrics on the back. And with such a green cover, you would expect the album to be splatter green, which it is. And yeah, great vinyl. There you go. This is on Dry Heave Records. It's pretty much like DRI, to be honest. It's hardcore sound with a bit of punk, quite fast with those familiar vocals. So if you like DRI, I'm sure you'll have heard it. If you haven't, I'd recommend it. Yeah, I've enjoyed picking it back up and having a good listen to it. Second one up is, I think, one that a lot of people will know. You'll certainly know the cover, I think, if you've not heard it. And this is Dr. No, Wreckage in Flesh. A classic, a classic album from back in the late 80s, early 90s. Just giving it a re-listen, the sound kind of surprised me because I've not listened to it for such a long time. In my head, I thought it would be like a bit more like Mordred or something like that, kind of that crossover kind of funk thrash thing, but it's certainly not. It's full on thrash, basically, as you'd expect. That good 80s sound. There you go. A little picture of the band. This is on Death Records. Again, it's an original, in great condition. There you go. And that is that. Yeah, initially crossover. This one's a bit heavier, more metal. Lots of heavy riffs. I think Slayer covered Mr. Freeze song of Dr. No on Undisputed Attitude. So there you go, little fact on that one. Okay, the final record I've got is something that I didn't own when I was younger, but my good friend Neil was a big fan of this band. So much so that when he created a fanzine. So we used to go to lots of gigs back in the 80s, and he had a fanzine, and he named the fanzine after one of the albums by this band. And this is particularly for the UK fans. This is Doctor and the Crippins, and the album in question was an album called Raphanadosis. And I always remember back in the day, without the internet, without anything, it was kind of just a made up magazine with writing in it, and then Neil would just copy it all with interviews from bands. I think one of the most famous ones he'd done was Chris Cornell and Soundgarden at the back of the Manchester Academy. So yeah, used to get real access to the bands just through that fanzine, and it was named after this band. So this is Doctor and the Crippins, not Crappins. You can see in the top corner there the price, $4.99 back in the day. Let me just show you the innards. Great lyric artwork on that side and that side. There you go. There you go. They made a couple of albums under Doctor and the Crippins. They made some albums under the name Krill, and they made some albums under the name Crippins. They were renowned for their live shows. Lots of fun and games going on there. The sound is quite hardcorey, quite punky, but fun. Lots of political, funny type content and songs. They also featured on the famous DJ John Peel, and he was a big fan, so he did a couple of sessions with them as well. They're certainly in the bracket of bands like Bomb Disneyland, Lawnmower Death, that type of genre really, but definitely worth checking out. You can still get some of the stuff pretty cheap if you like that style of music. Yeah, definitely pick it up. And that's it. Yeah, so not a long video, but a very enjoyable video. Got me to look back at some of my collection and pick out some of the albums that I've not played for a while, but hopefully you found them of interest. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be hopefully back next week to do a collection update. Picked up quite a lot of stuff since my first collection video, so I'll be running through that next week. So look out for that. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and catch you later. Cheers.